Reverb and delay. What's the difference? Well, reverb and delay are both effects that are used to create the perception of space and depth in a recording. They operate in different ways and they produce different results. So this video will explain the difference and give you some common ways to use reverb and delay in a mix. So if you find this video helpful, please subscribe to help grow the channel. This video is brought to you by DistroKid. Over 1 million artists rely on DistroKid to get their music onto Spotify, Apple Music, and all other major streaming services. DistroKid makes music distribution fun and easy with unlimited uploads, and artists keep 100% of their royalties and earnings. DistroKid offers several great marketing tools like the promo card generator, which lets you create dozens of promo cards so that you can more easily promote your releases on social media. It's a completely free tool available to all DistroKid artists. So if you haven't already, you can use the link in the description to get 7% off your first year's subscription with DistroKid. So the first key difference between reverb and delay is the density of reflections. Reverb is designed to replicate the sound reflections that occur in an acoustic space. It simulates the natural reverberation that occurs when sound waves bounce off of many surfaces in a room, creating a dense and continuous wash of reflections that often lingers on after the original sound. This reverb consists of a collection of many closely spaced reflections, resulting in a dense and continuous decay of sound. It adds a sense of ambience and spaciousness to the audio, as if it was recorded in a larger or more reverberant space. Delay, on the other hand, produces discrete repetitions of the original sound, creating distinct echoes or repeats at specific intervals. While reverb will mimic a whole bunch of diffuse reflections that end up forming that dense wash that I mentioned earlier, delay can be used to mimic a reflection off of a single wall, like the back of an auditorium. Because of this, delay creates a more pronounced rhythmic effect and can be used for precise timing or rhythmic patterns. The second difference between these two effects is how they're often used in a mix. Reverb is commonly used to create a sense of space and depth in a mix. It's often applied to individual tracks to simulate different acoustic environments and to blend different instruments together. One reverb bus could serve multiple instruments in a mix, and we can adjust the send amount to control how much of the reverb sound we're adding to each instrument. So one long reverb could blend together layers of background vocals. Delay, on the other hand, is frequently used as an effect to add a rhythmic interest or to create specific timing events. It's great when applied to individual tracks like vocals, guitar, percussion, and it's great for automating one-time events like delay throws. So overall, reverb and delay have different impacts on the original sound source. Reverb tends to blend sounds together, making them feel more integrated with the environment, and when used properly, reverb can add a sense of cohesion to a mix. Delay, on the other hand, creates distinct echoes that add rhythmic interest to a sound. So both effects have unique applications and can be used creatively to enhance your audio recordings. In this first example, we'll compare the effect of long and short decay times on vocals. For the short reverb time, we're using the Little Plate by Soundtoys with a 1.5 second decay time.
I can't believe you're moving on.
So this gives us a sound that mimics a splashy tile room. It has a tighter decay that doesn't linger on after the vocal. Next, we'll take a look at our long reverb. We're using the Softtube Czar reverb with a 4-second decay time and a 100 millisecond pre-delay.
I can't believe you're moving on.
Using a long reverb like this can add a cathedral or cavernous environment with a huge extended decay. And you can blend both of these reverbs together to get the best of both worlds. Check it out. second example, you'll hear the effect of long and short reverb on drums. I'm using Logic's Space Designer for this example. Our short reverb is a 0.6 second drum booth. It's a splashy room sound with that tight decay. It's got early reflections, it doesn't linger, and it's useful if your drums were recorded too dry and you want to add in some faux room sound. And compare that with our long reverb, which is a 1.8 second large room sound. This can really add a huge extended decay to the drums. And again, I find that less is more in this situation. 1.8 seconds isn't really that long for a reverb, but in this setting, it really does add that huge extended decay that I wouldn't really want to go that much longer. In the third example, you'll hear the effect of delay on a simple quarter note drum beat. Set the delay time to a multiple of the beat, either an 8th note or a 16th note. If you want a single repeat, use a low amount of feedback. Whereas if you want the drum to echo on for much longer, increase the feedback. Next, we'll blend the wet amount to taste. Having the wet at 100% is going to make those repeat notes play back at the same level as the original, whereas lowering the wet amount will give some depth to the dynamics as the repeats play back softer. And as you may notice, this delay effect is working on the entire drum bus. If you find that you need more precision, you'll want to set up your delays on individual tracks and automate them as needed. Let's talk about that in example 4, setting up a vocal delay throw. A delay throw is a line or phrase that is repeated after the initial dry vocal. One example is to take a phrase or the last word of a lyric and duplicate it onto a new track and add a delay. For this example, we're going to go with a whole note delay.
You're moving on, moving on, moving on.
If you don't want to separate out your part onto its own track, you'll have to automate the effect to only occur in your desired section. Now, so far we've been talking about much longer delay times. As delay times get shorter, there reaches a point where the delay starts to mimic the wash of reverb. So in this last example, you'll see how to use slapback delay as an alternative to reverb on old-timey vocals. So in example 5, we're going to be setting up a slapback effect for ambience. To set up the slapback effect, you're going to use a delay time between 70 and 150 milliseconds. You want to go for low feedback so you get a single repeat.
I've never owned a thing, I'll be renting till I die. Can't even keep my name, but still I'm getting by. There's a price to be paid if you wanna get ahead, but don't waste a single dime, you can spend it when you're dead. It sure gets hard being on your own.
This effect can be used to mimic the sound of a small reflective space. It tends to have a vintage sound because it was used on vocals and guitar in a lot of early rock and country music.
I've never owned a thing, I'll be renting till I die. Can't even keep my name, but still I'm getting by. There's a price to be paid if you wanna get ahead, but don't waste a single dime, you can spend it when you're dead. It sure gets hard being on your own.
And remember that these tips should always be considered in context. Ultimately, the artistic intent and the specifics of your recording should guide your decision on what tool is needed to get the results that you desire. There are so many great uses for effects like reverb and delay, and if you're confused on how to use them in combination, you can check out this video. Thanks so much for watching, and happy mixing.
Maybe it's time I walk away. Can't save you from myself.